In the name of Almighty, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Myself, Abdul Qadir, Assistant Professor of Commerce, Sadakatalapa College, Tirunelveli. Welcome to our class, Financial Accounting 1. Let's get into the subject. Today, we shall discuss about the accounting concepts and conventions. We know the meaning of the concept. Each and everything has its own concept, principles, rules, or regulations. Likewise, accounting concepts are there. And the next one is the conventions. What is the meaning of conventions is the tradition, what we follow for so many years, what we follow for traditionally, from generation to generation, or day-to-day life. That is called as conventions. So they denoted that the generally accepted accounting principles, that is the GAAP, are all termed concepts by some experts. Okay, so there is the GAAP, generally accepted accounting principle is there. Okay, accounting principles are there. So those principles are called as the concepts by experts. That is, some argue that the GAAP is the concept of accounting, and some other call of them conventions, and some of the experts are calling that as convention. However, overwhelming majority of authors on accounting distinguish between the concept and the convention. There are some differences between, that is, the concept and the conventions according to many experts. So accounting concepts are the assumptions or ideas which are essential to the practice of accounting and preparation of financial statement. Okay, at the time of preparing the financial statement, that is the preparation of trading, profit and loss, and balance sheet. Okay, we need to follow some assumptions, we need to follow some principles, we need to follow some ideas. Those are called as the accounting concepts. Okay. The following are the generally accepted list of basic accounting concepts across the globe. Okay, the first concept is business entity concept. Second one, money measurement concept, going concern concept, dual aspect concept, then accounting period concept, cost concept, realization concept, matching concept, accrual concept, and objective evidence concept. So these are the 10 accounting concepts are followed by the accountants across the countries. Okay. Now, let's begin with the business entity concept. What is the meaning of business entity? Entity refers to a separate firm or separate company, that is called as an entity. So the entity that represents the association of persons is considered distinct, and they are distinct and they are different and separate from the owners, management, and employees of the enterprise. So according to this concept, that is, the company is different and separate from its owners. Okay, there may be the owners, or there may be the employees, or there may be the management people, but they are associated with the company, but according to the law, that is, as we stated, that according to the Companies Act 1956, or to the latest act, that is company, it is an artificial person. Okay, company is an artificial person created by law. Okay, that is the basic concept of company. So here it refers to entity is separate from its owners, and this principle of concept facilitates, that is, buying of loan from the banks. So that is, the company is buying the loans in the name of the company. That is, the owners of the company are applying the loan in the name of the company. And if they are buying any assets, they are if they are buying any vehicles for their own use, they will apply in the name of the company. So ultimately, who is responsible? That is, the company is responsible. So this concept facilitates many misleading, that is the fraudulent. Okay, fraudulent practices are followed by many business people. Okay, they are applying the loan, even they are eligible to pay off the loan, but they won't, because the loan was bought in the name of the company. So the company is the defaulter, not the owner, even they are eligible to pay the loan. Okay, this is called as the business entity concept. And the next one is the money measurement concept. According to the business entity concept, according to the business entity concept, that is owners and business is different, and we are going to record the accounting transactions different from the owners. Okay, so the owners are not at all treated as the business. Okay, the owner is the different one and the company is the different one. If the owner is drawing some money, it will be taken into account. Okay, it will not be considered as a business purpose. Okay, it will be noted as a personal. And the second one is money measurement concept. This concept excludes all business transactions and events which cannot be measured in terms of money. So according to this principle concept, we are not going to record everything in the accounting. Okay, we are going to record only the money transaction which can be measured in terms of monetary. Okay, monetary value, that is the currencies. We are going to record either in Indian national rupee or US dollars or some other foreign currencies. So that is the concept of money measurement. We are not going to record any liter basis or on the basis of tons or on the basis of kilograms like this. So it will be excluded under the accounting concept. And the next one is going concern concept. So as I studied in the company's definition, the company definition denotes that a company is an artificial person created by law having perpetual succession. What is the meaning of perpetual succession? That is, it has longer life. Longer life means that is the perpetual succession. That is, the business entity is not going to end in the near. Okay, it will have more than generation. So if you take the examples of Tata and Sons, so they are having the history since 1850s. Okay, since 19th century they are running the business, so they are running the business for more than 150 years. Okay, so likewise if you take the Reliance group of companies, they are running the business for more than 50 or 60 years. Okay, so anyone is not coming instantly. Okay, they are having the base from the early ages. Okay, early periods. So this concept assumes that a business entity has continuity of life. It will continue for an indefinite period of time. It has no need or intention to close down. So we can make the accounting records on the basis of continuity. So we can record the business transaction in the accounting books on the basis of the continuity for every month, year, and for the subsequent years we can follow it on for year. That is, the years may be rolled on and the accounting records can also be kept. That is called as the going concern concept. And the next thing is fourth one is dual aspect concept. It is the major concept of the double entry system. Every business transaction has a transaction recorded in the books of accounts of a business has two aspects. That is the receiving aspect and the giving aspect. That is called as the debit aspect and the credit aspect. So this is the major concept of the accounting, that is the double entry system of accounting. Okay, under single entry system we are not going to follow any rules and regulation or any other principles. Simply we are going to maintain that is the personal books of the debtors and the creditors and the cash book only. But in case of the double entry system of bookkeeping, we are going to record the that is all the three accounts, that is the personal accounts, real accounts and the nominal accounts. Okay, so here we need to follow the we need to follow the principle of double entry. That is, each transaction must affect both either they have to affect both the transaction. That is, either it may be the giving or receiving aspect, or either it may be the debit or credit aspect. And the next one is accounting period concept. Accounting period concept means, that is, the accounting period helps to measure the income generated during the specific accounting period, which makes it possible to distribute it to the owners. So for example, accounting period concept means the accounting are recorded for the specific period of time. That is, we are having different calendars are there. That is, we are following the English calendar. It starts from January 1 to 31st of December. Okay, And there is academic calendar is there. Academic calendar means that is when the educational institutions are following the academic calendar, it starts from June 1 until the March, okay, 31st of March, sorry, it will follow up to the May, okay. But in case of the financial accounting means that the financial accounting year, it starts from the 1st April of every month and ends with the 31st of March of the subsequent year. Okay, so that is the accounting or recorded on the basis of for a specific period of time. So for a specific period of time, it helps us to identify the profit or loss earned, okay, or incurred. That is how much the profit we earned for the specific period of time can be ascertained easily, okay. And that is called as accounting period concept. And the next one is the cost concept. Cost concept means accounting is a historical record of a transactions of a business entity, okay. Under accounting we are recording the historical cost concept, that is already expended, already gained, okay. We are going to record the historical concept only. Historical means the past entries are to be recorded, so we are not going to make the entry for the features, okay. We are recording the entries or transactions or events which was happened earlier, okay, in the previous days or in the previous months or in the previous years only. We are recording the transaction. That is the cost concept means that is we are recording only the past events and transaction means, and not the future one. So this cost is same for example, according to the cost concept, assets are recorded at the price paid to acquire them. Sorry. Yes. So according to cost concept, and another thing is that is the assets are recorded at the price paid to acquire them. When we are buying the asset, when we are buying a machinery or building means, we are going to record the that cost only, okay. For example, if I bought an asset, a building in the year 2010 means, for the value of rupees 20 lakhs means, that I am going to record 20 lakhs, okay, under the accounting books. For each and every year only we are going to follow the same amount only and not the different one, okay. And I can't give you the fluctuations to the asset according to the trend, okay. Here we are recording the what was the actual cost spent, okay. What was the actual cost spent towards the, that is acquiring them only will be recorded under the that is the accounting. We are not going to make record of the according to the current level or according to the inflation. We are not going to record such things, okay. And the next thing is realization concept. Revenue is considered as earned on the date when it is realized. The term realization implies the legal liability to pay by the buyer or user or customer, okay. So revenue is considered when we are going to consider the revenue earned on the date when it is realized, okay. So realization concept means that is the we are going to record the transaction only if it is completed, okay, according to the law, according to the legal liability. For example, if we take the cash transaction means, after the cash receipt we are going to make the entry. But in case of credit transaction, if there is legal liability arises, only we are going to record, okay. When the agreement has been made, we are going to record, okay. So realization concept means only we are going to record after that particular event or transaction has been completed. It will not be, that is accounting, under accounting concept we are not going to record unless the that particular event or transaction has been not yet completed, okay. And the next thing is matching concept. Matching of revenues and cost relevant to a specific period is called the matching concept. It is the basis for finding reliable profit for a period which can be safely distributed to the owners. So matching concept signifies when we are making some expenditures towards the business means we need to get some revenue. Likewise, when we are getting some revenue means that is we must have been invested in the previous. Okay, we must invest some money in the previous thing. So that is the matching concept. So we need to give the correct record of transaction, how much the expenditures has been made for this process, and during the particular specific period must be mentioned. For example, if we are making the sales and we are getting the revenue, so that revenue must be matched with the that is the expenditure made in the for the same thing. Okay, that is called as the matching concept. So it is the basis for finding reliable profit for a period which can be safely distributed to the owners. So it ensures the reliability for finding out the profit or loss. For example, if the matching concept does not work means that is when they are making recording the previous years. Okay, previous years expenditure has been transferred to this year means that is not the matching concept. So that is the expenditure which was made in the particular specific period must be recorded on the same financial year only. So that is signified by the matching concept, under matching concept. And the next thing is accrual concept. Revenues or cost are accrued, that is earned, recognized as they are earned or incurred, and not as money is received or paid. Okay, accrued means that is income earned but not received. Okay, like this, the examples of the accrual concept are outstanding expenses. Outstanding expenses, that is we need to pay. Okay, we need to pay but not yet been paid. Then the prepaid expenses. Prepaid expenses means we paid in advance. Okay, we paid in advance for any rent or insurance. Likewise means that is the prepaid expense. Then accrued incomes. Accrued incomes means that is the income receivable but not yet received. And incomes received in advance. The incomes received in advance means we have received the rent for this complete year in advance. That is called income received in advance. So these things are to be recorded under the that is the accounting before finalizing the financial statement. So that is called as accrual concept. And the next thing is objective evidence concept. All accounting entries must be based on objective evidence. So all the that is the business transaction and the events must be backed up with the evidence. Objective refers to verifiability, that is it can be verifiable, and that is the records must be the reliable records, and the absence of bias. There must not be any personal bias. Bias means ஒருதலைபட்சமாக நடக்கிறது, இல்லை ஒருத்தவங்களுக்கு சாதகமாக இருக்கிறதுக்கு பேர் என்ன சொல்லுவாங்க, பயாஸ்ன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. ஸோ அது மாதிரி எதுவும் ஃபால்ஸ் ரெக்கார்டு இல்லாமல் கொண்டுட்டு வர்றதுக்கு பேர் தான் பயாஸ். ஓகே, absence of bias. And the next thing is accounting conventions. ஓகே, அப்போ accounting principles-ல accounting concepts பார்த்தோம். அதுக்கப்புறம் என்ன, accounting conventions. What is the meaning of accounting conventions? Means the convention of full disclosure. The convention of so there are 4 conventions are there. The first one is the convention of full disclosure, convention of consistency, convention of materiality, and the convention of conservation. Okay, conservation or conservatism. Next slide. Okay, we go through the first point. What is the meaning of convention of full disclosure? So according to this convention, all accounting statements should be prepared honestly. Okay, should be prepared honestly. நியாயமாக வந்து நம்ம ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணணும். The statement should disclose fully all the significant information. எந்த ஒரு ஒளிவு மறைவும் இல்லாமல் இருக்கக்கூடிய பிஸ்னஸ் டிரான்சாக்ஷனை எல்லாத்தையும் அப்படியே நம்ம என்ன பண்ணணும், அக்கௌண்டிங் இன்ஃபர்மேஷனில், அதாவது அக்கௌண்டிங் புக்ஸில் வந்து காட்டிடணும். Facts, figures and the details which are of material interest to the owners, investors, creditors, etc. must be clearly presented in the financial statement. So convention of full disclosure means that that is the accountant should disclose all the informations in the business. in the business transaction must be kept under the accounting books, that is called as the convention of full disclosure. Then the second thing is convention of consistency. According to this convention, that is the rules, practices and concepts used in accounting should be continuously observed and applied year after year. Example, depreciation method. That is the consistency. கன்சிஸ்டன்சின்னா என்ன சொல்லுவாங்க, முரணற்ற. இன்கன்சிஸ்டன்ட்னா முரண்பாடு இருக்கக்கூடியது. அப்போ அக்கார்டிங் டு திஸ் கன்வென்ஷன் த ரூல்ஸ், practices and concepts used in accounting should be continuously observed and applied year after year. For example, if we are following a method of for the valuation of the shares, that must be followed for each and every year. Okay, and when we are in the at the beginning we are following the depreciation method. There are different types of depreciation method are there. Fixed method, then written down value method. So when we are following a particular method means that the same method must be followed for the subsequent years. So that is called the convention of consistency. எந்த ஒரு முரண்பாடும் இல்லாமல் நம்மளுடைய தகுதிக்கு, அதாவது நம்மளுடைய கம்ஃபர்ட்டுக்கு ஏற்ற மாதிரி நம்ம என்ன பண்ணிடக்கூடாது, நம்மளோட மெத்தட்ஸை வந்து சேஞ்ச் பண்ணிடக்கூடாது. அதை தான் என்ன பண்ணுறாங்க, கன்வென்ஷன் ஆஃப் கன்சிஸ்டன்சியில் வந்து இன்சிஸ்ட் பண்ணுறாங்க. And the next thing is the convention of materiality. It means relative importance. It gives the importance to the decision making. According to AAA, that is the AAA means American Accounting Association. Yes, so that is the American Accounting Association defines an item should be regarded as material if there is no reason to believe that knowledge of it would influence the decision of informed investors. So informed investors means the owners of the business, the stakeholders of the business, the creditors of the business. So those information that are highly influential to the decision making process by the investors are called as the materiality, giving materiality. So under the convention of materiality, the following things are happens. That is when we are offering the loans to directors and the employees, can be material information and should be separately disclosed as the Banking Companies Regulation Act. So when we are making the loans to the directors and the employees means that should be recorded separately. And the second thing is adjusting amount to the nearest rupee is based on the materiality of the amount. That is, if it is very important means we should focus on the fractional, and if it is not important means we can come to the overall value. Okay, nearest value. And next, disclosing procedural changes in the valuation of inventories is based on the materiality of procedures. So the procedural changes in valuation of inventories, so inventories must be valued on the basis of the materiality. If it is so much important means we should give preference to them and should be brought into the information under the accounting rules and concepts. And the next thing is convention of conservatism. That is the conservation. Conservatism is a policy of caution or playing safe. Okay, then convention of conservatism means that is playing safe. Conservatism means that is we can in colloquial or in the practical term, that is conservatism refers to the people who are stick on to their older belief. Okay, old beliefs, they are called as the conservatist or conservatism. So but in the case of accounting concept it is different. That is, when we are following the policy of caution or playing safe, conservatism is the defensive accounting mechanism against uncertainty. When stocks are valued, the usual principle followed is cost or market price, whichever is lower. So at the time of valuing the stocks under the inventory management, we used to record under, that is either the cost value, what is the cost we bought, okay, what is the cost we bought the stock, or the market value, whichever is lower should be recorded under the accounting system. So all provisions like provision for doubtful debts, when we are providing the provision for doubtful debts or provision for discount on debtors, provision for contingencies are based on the convention of conservatism. So these conservatism may result in understatement of assets and income and overstatement of provisions and liabilities. So this conservatism helps. This may result in secret reserves. ஓகே கன்சர்வேட்டிசம் கான்செப்ட்ன்றா புரியுதா? பிளேயிங் சேஃப், அதாவது நம்மளுடைய பிஸ்னஸுக்கு வந்து எது சேஃபோ அதை ஃபாலோ பண்ணுறது தான். இப்போது ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் நம்ம ஸ்டாக்கை வந்து வேல்யூ பண்ணும்போது என்ன பண்ணணும், நம்ம வாங்கின விலை காஸ்ட் ப்ரைஸ், அடுத்த மார்க்கெட் ப்ரைஸ் இருக்குது. இந்த ரெண்டு ப்ரைஸில் வந்து நம்ம எதை நம்ம ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணுவோம்னு பார்த்தோம்னா, எது வந்து விச்செவர் இஸ் லோயர், ஓகே மார்க்கெட் ப்ரைஸ் லோவாக இருந்துச்சுன்னா அதை தான் நம்ம ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணுவோம் வேல்யூவாக. இல்லை காஸ்ட் ப்ரைஸ் லோயராக இருந்ததுன்னா அந்த வேல்யூவை தான் நம்ம ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணுவோம். ஸோ அதே போல் வந்து ப்ரொவிஷன் ஆன் டெட்டாஸ், அதாவது டெட்டாஸ்னால் நம்ம கடன் கொடுத்துருக்குறோம், அதுலேருந்து வந்து வரக்கூடிய இது வந்து திரும்பி வராமல் வந்து எவ்வளோ பர்சன்டேஜ் இருக்கலாம் அப்படிங்கிறதுக்கு வந்து உண்டான நம்ம ப்ரொவிஷன்ஸ் வந்து நம்ம க்ரியேட் பண்ணுறோம் பார்த்தீங்களா. இதெல்லாம் வந்து பின்னாடி ஏற்படக்கூடிய ஒரு ரிஸ்க்கு இல்லை அன்சர்டனிட்டிஸை வந்து ரெடியூஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு வந்து ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும் இந்த கன்சர்வேட்டிசம் கான்செப்ட். ஓகே, அப்போது இது என்னவாகும்டா, அண்டர் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் அசட்ஸ் உடைய வேல்யூவை குறைச்சி காட்டும், அதே நேரத்தில் லைபிலிட்டிஸ் உடைய வேல்யூவை வந்து அதிகமாக காட்டும். இது வந்து நம்மளுடைய பிஸ்னஸுக்கு ஒரு சீக்ரெட் ரிசர்வ்ஸை வந்து க்ரியேட் பண்ணும். ஸோ பட் ஓவர் எம்ஃபசைஸ் ஆன் கன்சர்வேட்டிசம் மே பிரிங் அபவுட் எ கான்ஃப்ளிக்ட் வித் த கன்வென்ஷன் ஆஃப் டிஸ்க்ளோசர். ஓகே, அப்போது இங்கே வந்து நம்ம கன்சர்வேட்டிசம்க்கு வந்து ரொம்ப டூ மச் இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸை கொடுத்தோம்னா என்னவாகும், it will affect the convention of full disclosure வந்து பாதிப்பு ஏற்படுத்தும். நம்ம ஃபுல் டிஸ்க்ளோஸ் வந்து பண்ணுறதுக்கு உண்டான பாசிபிலிட்டிஸ் வந்து குறையும். தென் கன்சர்வேட்டிசம் வித்தின் லிமிட்ஸ் சர்வ்ஸ் as a useful purpose. அப்போ அந்த கன்சர்வேட்டிசமை நம்ம ஒரு லெவல், ஒரு செக் லெவல் வச்சு அந்த லெவல்குள்ளே நம்ம வந்து யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கிட்டோம்னா இட் வில் பி ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல் ஃபார் அவர் பிஸ்னஸ். பட் when it should not be taken to extremes, it can distort the operating results and the financial position of a பிஸ்னஸ். நம்ம ஓவர் காஷியஸாக இருக்கிறோங்கிற பேரில் வந்து டெட்டாஸுக்கு வந்து ப்ரொவிஷன் ஆன் டெட்டாஸ் அதிகமான அமௌண்ட்டு ஒதுக்கி வச்சுட்டோம், அதே நேரத்தில் இந்த அசட்ஸுடைய வேல்யூவை வந்து ரொம்ப அண்டர்ஸ்டேட் பண்ணிட்டோம்னா என்னவாகும், அது வந்து பிஸ்னஸுடைய ஆப்ரேஷன் ப்ராஃபிட்டை வந்து பாதிப்பு ஏற்படுத்தும். ஓகே, ஸோ தட்ஸ் ஆல் த கான்செப்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் கன்வென்ஷன்ஸ், அக்கௌண்டிங் கான்செப்ட் அண்ட் கன்வென்ஷன்ஸை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் தான். திஸ் இஸ் வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் டு பி லேர்ன்ட் பிஃபோர் கோயிங் இன் டு த சப்ஜெக்ட் ஆஃப் அக்கௌண்டிங், கான்செப்ட் ஆஃப் அக்கௌண்டிங். ஓகே, then the next thing is the types of accounts. We already studied in the +1 and +2 education. Types of accounts are classified into personal accounts, real accounts and nominal accounts. Okay, so first we look on the personal accounts. Personal accounts refers to accounts of persons with whom the business has dealings, are known as personal accounts. It takes the following forms: either they may be the natural person or artificial person or legal bodies and a representative personal accounts. Natural person means, for example, Ahmad and co. Okay, sorry, natural person means it refers to the human beings. Okay, it refers to the human beings. So when we are recording the name of the debtor, or when we are recording the name of the creditor, Kumar account, or when we are recording as Abdullah account, likewise means that is called as the natural person. And when we are having the artificial persons or legal bodies, okay, artificial persons or legal bodies. Artificial persons or legal bodies means it refers to the companies. Artificial person or legal bodies means that it refers to the companies, like for example Polymark Private Limited, they are under the classification of artificial person or legal body. And representative personal accounts. Representative personal accounts means it refers to the representation, that is outstanding expenses or prepaid expenses that are comes under the category of the representative personal accounts. And the second type of account is real accounts. Accounts in which the business records the real things owned by it. Real things that are owned by it are called as real accounts. Okay, assets of the business are known as real accounts. Generally, it refers to the assets of the business. And real accounts are of two types, that are tangible real account and intangible real account. That is, tangible real account means it refers to the assets that are that can be seen, that are visible, that are touched. We can which are having the own appearance or structure. They are called as the tangible real account. For example, buildings, land, cash, machinery may comes under the category of the tangible. Intangible means which is not having any physical structure, or which cannot be seen, or which cannot be touched. They are called as the intangible real accounts. So examples of intangible real accounts are goodwill, patents, trademarks. They are comes under the category of the intangible real account. And the next account is nominal accounts. It relates to the items which exist in name only. When we are having the name only means they are called as the nominal accounts. Accounts which record the expenses, losses, incomes and the gains of the business are known as the nominal account. For example, rent. So rent is not having any physical structure. Just only we are having the name. Salaries, they are only the name. Okay, salary is not having any physical structure like other assets like machinery or some other things. Okay, telephone charges, commission account, interest received account. So they are all comes under the only the name, and which is not having, which is not owning any physical structure. They are called as the nominal accounts. Okay, these are the three types of accounts, that is real account, personal account and nominal account. Okay, and finally the accounting rules. Okay, accounting rules is the very familiar one. It should be known by every accounting students. Okay, so golden rules of accounting, or it may be known as the rules for journalizing or rules for debiting and crediting, all are similar, the same title only. Okay, so the first one is the personal accounts. So for the personal account, we are going to debit the receiver and credit the giver. Real account, we are going to debit what comes in and credit what goes out. Nominal account, then debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. Okay, so this accounting rules, these golden rules of accounting can be understood with the help of preparing the journal entries. Okay, we can see in the next class better. So today we learnt about the accounting concept and the conventions, then the types of accounts, and the next thing is accounting rules. Thank you.